The sun was setting over Maple Avenue, painting the quiet street in shades of gold and red. From afar, everything looked peaceful, children riding bikes, curtains swaying in open windows. But inside one old wooden house, a sharp cry broke the silence. 6-year-old Caleb ran out barefoot, tears streaking his dusty face. "He hit my grandma," he shouted, clutching his small hand to his chest. Neighbors peeked out whispering, but no one dared to move. Across the street, the deep rumble of engines echoed. A line of Hell's Angels bikers had just pulled up near the gas station. Their leader, Jace, turned his head when he heard the boy cry. Caleb ran toward them, trembling. "Please, help my grandma. He's hurting her." The bikers exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from confusion to anger. Jace killed his engine and stepped off the bike, his boots crunching the gravel. The boy's trembling voice cracked again. "He's still inside. Please hurry. Before we move forward, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? And don't forget to like and subscribe to Black and Wronged for more heart-touching stories. Let's get started." Jace looked at Caleb, his small hands shaking as he pointed down the street. "It's that house," the boy whispered. The bikers turned their heads. A chipped white porch, a broken window, and faint shouting from inside. Nora's voice cried out in pain, "Stop, please, Axel." The name made Jace's jaw tighten. He had heard of men like Axel before, bullies who thought strength came from hurting the weak. Without a word, Jace nodded to his crew. Engines roared to life again, echoing through Maple Avenue. Curtains fluttered. Neighbors gasped. The ground seemed to shake as 12 bikers followed a little boy toward danger. Caleb kept glancing back, afraid. But Jace gave him a short nod, a promise that he wasn't alone anymore. At the porch, Caleb hesitated. "He said he'd kill her if I told anyone," he whispered. Jace bent down, his voice calm but sharp. "You did the right thing, kid. Stay behind me now." Then he motioned to his men. The door creaked open before they could knock, and a tall shadow filled the frame. It was Axel, holding a beer bottle, sneering. "What's this? A parade?" Jace looked at Caleb, his small hands shaking as he pointed down the street. "It's that house," the boy whispered. The bikers turned their heads. A chipped white porch, a broken window, and faint shouting from inside. Nora's voice cried out in pain. "Stop, please, Axel!" The name made Jace's jaw tighten. He had heard of men like Axel before, bullies who thought strength came from hurting the weak. Without a word, Jace nodded to his crew. Engines roared to life again, echoing through Maple Avenue. Curtains fluttered. Neighbors gasped. The ground seemed to shake as 12 bikers followed a little boy toward danger. Caleb kept glancing back, afraid. But Jace gave him a short nod, a promise that he wasn't alone anymore. Caleb's little hands gripped Jace's jacket tighter. "That's her!" he cried. Without waiting another second, Jace kicked the door open. It slammed against the wall with a crack. Inside, the living room was a mess. Shattered plates, overturned furniture, and a trembling old woman on the floor. Nora's face was bruised, her hands shaking as she tried to crawl away. "Grandma?" Caleb screamed, running toward her. But Axel grabbed the boy's arm mid-run. "Come here, you brat!" he shouted, yanking him back. Jace moved faster than thought. His fist met Axel's jaw, sending the man stumbling. "You don't touch a kid," he hissed. The rest of the bikers stepped inside, spreading out like a wall of black leather and fury. Nora looked up through tears. "Please, don't hurt him," she whispered. Jace knelt beside her. "We're not here to hurt anyone, ma'am," he said softly. "We're here to stop the hurting." Axel staggered to his feet, blood on his lip and rage in his eyes. He reached behind the couch, and the glint of metal appeared in his hand. The air froze. The dull metallic click of the gun echoed through the small house. Axel grinned, wiping the blood from his mouth. "Now who's in charge?" he snarled, pointing the gun at Jace. The bikers froze. Muscles tense, hands slightly raised. Caleb clung to Nora, whispering, "Grandma, I'm scared." Jace's eyes stayed locked on Axel's shaking hand. "You don't want to do this," he said, his tone calm but firm. Axel's laugh was wild. "You people think you're heroes? You don't even know me." "You're right," Jace replied. "But I know her." He nodded toward Nora. "And I know she didn't deserve this." For a moment, the tension felt like a storm about to break. Outside, the sound of engines still rumbled. The rest of the Hell's Angels waiting for Jace's signal. Inside, Caleb's soft sobs filled the silence. Axel's finger twitched on the trigger. One more word, he spat, and I'll... A sudden crash of glass came from the window, and a biker burst through it, tackling Axel to the ground before the shot could fire. The living room exploded into chaos. The biker who crashed through the window wrestled Axel to the ground, the gun skidding across the floor. Jace dove for it, kicking it far out of reach. Caleb screamed, clutching Nora, while shards of glass rained over the carpet. Axel fought back hard, landing a few wild punches, but the Hell's Angel didn't let go. "You're done, man," he shouted. Jace stepped in, grabbing Axel by the collar and yanking him up to face him. "You like hurting people smaller than you?" Jace growled. "Try that on someone your own size." Axel spat. "You don't scare me." Jace's fist met his face. Once. Axel dropped like a stone. Nora covered Caleb's eyes, whispering softly, "It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay now." The bikers looked around the wrecked house, their heavy breathing filling the silence. The flashing red and blue lights painted Maple Avenue in chaos. Police cars screeched to a stop in front of Nora's broken porch. Officers jumped out, shouting orders, hands on their holsters. The neighbors peeked from behind curtains, whispering about the Hell's Angels, and the old lady's house that was suddenly filled with bikers. Jace raised his hands calmly, showing no threat. "We called you," he said, nodding toward the officer in charge. "Old lady's been hurt. The man who did it's on the floor." The officer's gaze followed his nod to Axel, unconscious but breathing. Paramedics rushed past to check on Nora. "Who are you people?" the officer asked. Jace simply replied, "Just men who heard a child cry." Caleb peeked out from behind Nora's arm, still holding his teddy bear. "They saved Grandma," he said softly, his voice trembling. The officer's face softened for a moment. He looked back at Jace, then nodded. As the police loaded Axel into the car, Nora reached out, trembling. "Wait," she said. "There's something you need to know about him." The officer paused, turning toward Nora, who was still weak but determined to speak. Caleb looked up at her, confused and scared. "Grandma, what do you mean?" he whispered. Nora's trembling hand pointed toward Axel, who was being handcuffed near the patrol car. He wasn't just living with us," she said, her voice breaking. "He was my late husband's old friend, the one who promised to take care of us after he died. But he lied. He took everything, our savings, my peace, even my grandson's smile." The truth hit Jace hard. He clenched his fists, remembering all the people who had been betrayed by those pretending to help. He walked closer to the officer and said quietly, "She doesn't need another court paper or warning. She needs safety. We'll make sure she gets it." The officer hesitated but saw the sincerity in Jace's eyes. "I believe you," he said. As the cops drove away, the night fell over Maple Avenue. But from the shadows across the street, a figure watched, a man with a camera phone recording everything. The next morning, the sun rose softly over Maple Avenue, painting the cracked sidewalk gold again. But this time, the house didn't echo with fear. It hummed with quiet safety. Nora sat by the window, a blanket around her shoulders, while Caleb played with his teddy bear on the porch steps. Down the street, the familiar rumble of engines grew louder. Jace and the Hell's Angels pulled up one last time, their bikes gleaming in the morning light. Caleb ran toward them, smiling shyly. Jace crouched down and handed him a small patch, a white angel wing stitched over red. "It's a promise," Jace said, "that you and your grandma are never alone again." Nora's eyes filled with tears. "How do I thank you?" she asked. Jace shook his head. "Just keep living without fear. That's thanks enough." The bikers started their engines, the roar echoing through the street, not as noise, but as a vow. As they disappeared around the corner, Caleb turned to his grandma. "Grandma," he whispered, smiling, "I think kindness rides motorcycles." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Black and Wronged, where real strength is shown through love and courage. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you heard a child cry those words?